What's going on, everybody? Only Mike here over at the Game Creator. Now, before we begin, I'd like to apologize. My last few videos, I didn't actually explain anything like where we go and what we do. So, first of all, let me come over here. Let me grab this. This is Quest. Okay, this is the website up here. Link will be in the description and is in the description of the other videos. And this is where you can come and you can create games straight online. We're not going to go over Squiffy. You can create them straight online, or you can go to Quest itself and start building online, or you can download it for Windows, which I did. And once you download, uh, you will get a window that looks like this, a desktop icon, and then you can double click it. And then what we want to do, you can either play, which will download a list of games, or create, and we'll create. And you want to create game type text adventure, and any name, whatever you name, you can name it whatever you want to, and then you're going to click OK to open it. This is the type of game that we're creating right now, is the text adventure. So I'll apologize for that, and I will put this in the beginning of my other videos. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? Only Mike here, and I'm over at the Game Creator. Now, as I said before in my last video, we were talking about making a game in Quest. That's what we're going to be doing. Today, we're going to be going over the basics, making object type, which you guys seen a little bit in the last video. It was extremely long, so you guys might have not watched it all. But anyways, we're going to go over the object type. We're going to make player stats. We're going to attach that to our player. And then we're going to make a function which basically randomly generates rooms that we create. So for each room, let's say instead of this being room, we can leave this room, but we're going to give it an alias of forest. So forest. So that way when we come in, we will see you are in a forest. Okay? And that's going to be the alias for all of them. And so that way, we know we're in a forest and we're going to be randomly generating items in that forest. So regular items would be maybe bushes, some grass, trees, stuff like that. But we're going to make the basics, and first off we're going to make grass, mushroom, and tree. We want the grass so we can do a little bit of crafting later, and give the room some scenery. And then we want to add a tree because, of course, forest has trees. And then with the mushroom, we're going to add that, and we're going to get a little into the player stats, the attributes, by changing the hunger value. So let's begin. So let's start off. This is what I like to do. I like to come up to my game and add a room, and I like to call this one items. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a room that you can go into or anything like that. I like to use these rooms to store items that I don't specifically want in a room right away. So let's go ahead and create an object, and we're going to call it tree. Very easy naming convention. I'm not getting into detail on all kinds of descriptions or anything like that. You can add a lookout, or I mean a look at description. So if you want to look at tree, you can put the tree has many branches and leaves. So we can do that. We can take this tree, we can pop it in our room right now and go play, and then we see a tree we can look at, and the tree has many branches and leaves. So there you go. There's the basics of that. But anyways, we're going to throw that back into our items because we don't want it necessarily in our room right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make a few more items. Let's call this one mushroom. Mushroom. And what we could also do with this mushroom, aside from eating it and giving us hunger, we can also take a little bit of health away from us as well. Because, like, it's not exactly healthy for you, but it does subside your hunger. You could do some things like that. We are also going to add some grass. Let's add grass. Okay, now that we have our 3 items made, let's go up to our game and let's make sure our let's go to features, and we could turn on our health, but I don't care for the percentage health thing going on. So let's turn a few variables on right now. We'll deal with light and darkness later, but right now we're going to do inventory limits. So basically we can carry items in our inventory and it will be set up by a volume. If you want to go into your player and go to where am I at? Volume. Here, our inventory right here. We can set up our inventory limitations. 0 is infinite, or we can go, oh, you can only carry 10 items, or you can carry 20 items with a max volume of 10. Okay, you could do something like that, but everything I'm going to be doing is going to have a volume of 1. We're going to be going off counts of volume of 1. So we're going to leave this alone, and right now we're going to leave our volume alone. We're going to leave all this unlimited right now. We're not going to bother with that. Okay, so now that we have our objects, now we see that we can, put can be taken, but we don't want our tree to be taken. So if we go over to our mushroom, we can put can be taken, and we could go over and we could pick up our mushroom right away. But that's about it. If you are wanting to get a little more in depth, you're going to have to do a little more than just pick up mushroom. If not, you're going to have to make 1,000 mushrooms and populate them in your game. The way we're going to do it, oops, can I undo that? Okay, good. The way we're going to do it is basically clone this object, clone these objects, and throw them throughout our rooms. So one more thing, let's go ahead and make another room. We'll just call this one room 1, and then we'll give it forest as well. So that way we know room 1, room 2, room 3, etc., etc. You can name them however you want to. I like to put my names on my alias, so that way I know I'm in a forest. And let's go up to our main room where our player is sitting in. Let's go to exits, and let's create an exit. I'm going to create mine south, and we are going to exit to room 1 and create exit. That's also going to create the exit back north to our other room. So if we were to go in right now, we're not going to see anything, but we can go south and we can go north. So there, now we can switch rooms. That's good, but there's nothing happening in those rooms right now. So one thing we want to do is create a function. We're going to create a function that generates these items at a random chance. And there's many ways you can do this. The easiest way I found to do it is like this. So let's come in here. Let's make a new function. Okay, if you didn't see, I'm in functions, add, and we're going to call this random resource spawner. Okay, you can name it whatever you want to. That just lets me know it's a random resource spawner. You can name it whatever you want to. Name it spawner. I don't care, whatever's easiest for you. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to grab an if statement. Okay, so all I did was add a new script, come over to if, click that, and it pops you up with this nice little scripting. Now you can also go to code view if you're more code friendly, which I'm not, and you can go in here, which some things do require a little bit of code, but we'll go over that. It's pretty simple, but yeah, I usually stick to this for the most part. So if we're going to drop our expression, and you see how we got all these different whatever you want to call them, options. There we go. We got all different kind of options: players carrying object, players not carrying object, um, things like that. We're going to go all the way down, scroll all the way down to random chance. Okay, so by random chance, let's turn this one up to 75. Or you could have just, you can click it and erase it. 75. Oops. 75. There we go. So you can change it all at once. You don't have to click the little buttons. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a new script under then. So if random chance, if by random it happens, we're going to clone object and move. So you want to scroll down their output. So if you want to shrink it, you can shrink it. Okay, and it's going to be under objects, clone object, and move. And we're going to add. Or you can just double click it. So if you were to go in and clone object and move, you can just double click it and it's going to do the same thing. So what we want to do is we want to clone object. Let's do our grass first. Clone object grass. Now this is where a little scripting comes in, because we don't exactly know where the player is going to be going. So every time he enters a new room, it's going to be somewhere else. So we don't want to necessarily just move it to a specific room, because if that's the case, it's only going to move it to that room if it's called. So we want to drop down our object, go to expression, and then in here we want to type player dot parent. Now let me explain a little bit about player dot parent. Player dot parent is basically what is the parent of the player. Okay, so basically what is holding the player right now. And in most cases, that is a room. So if we go over here to player, and we go to attributes, and we go to parent, you see under our attributes, parent is object room. So when we type in player.parent, it's going to pull this value, room. So if I was to put the player in room 1, and then we go to player, our parent will change to room 1. So that's a nifty little thing to look out for when you're doing these little things. If you want it to move to where the player is, that's how you would do it. Use it as an expression. So right now at 75% chance, we're going to get one piece of grass in our level. But we haven't called it yet. We haven't called our function. So we want this to happen in our main room, because this is, where we start off at. So we want to go to game, go to your script, and then our start script. We can shrink this down. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups. We can shrink these down if we wanted to and search for it. But what I do is scroll down, and we find under scripts, call function. So let's call function, and we're going to call that function that we just made random resource spawner. Make sure your naming convention is the same, because if not, it's not going to pull it. It's going to be like, what are you talking about? What function is this? So if I was just to name it, spawn, and then play a game, it's going to be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. But then I come in and I hit spawner, and we go to play, and it's going to do something, and it spawned us up some grass. So like I said before, we could just take that grass, but you can't take it because we didn't mark it. So that's fine. That's fine right now. So now we have our random spawner. So if we take this, we copy, paste, okay, we can change our percentages. All right, so there's obviously going to be a lot of trees too. All right, so we'll leave this at 75, and then we'll change our grass from grass to a tree, and then we'll change that there. And if you wanted to add more grass and more trees in there, all you'd have to do is take this clone object, copy it, and paste it. And then if it's pulled, if it does happen, you'll get 2 pieces of grass. If it doesn't happen, you won't get any. So same thing with this, with the tree. So let's copy it and make a couple of those. We're going to turn this down to 25%. I kind of wanted to keep it up. Actually, let's keep it up right now. Why won't you type right there? It is. Okay, we want to keep that up for right now, just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and then we can modify, because there's of course going to be less mushrooms in the world than there is anything else, especially edible mushrooms. You don't want to just go around eating mushrooms, kids. So once we go in now we see we got grass, and a mushroom. So it looks like we're working, but when we move to this room, there's nothing. Okay, and that's not because we didn't call it in this room. Well, I mean, it is because we didn't call it in this room. So it's not because it's not working, it's just because we didn't call it. So what we want to do now is go to our other room, our room 1, and we want to go to scripts, and we want to find before entering the room for the first time. Okay, now either you can come back to your game, take this, copy it, go back to your room, and you can paste it, or you can go through the whole thing of finding your scripts, call function, add it, type in your random resource, all that good stuff, and you can do it like that, or you can just copy paste it. That's what I like to do. I'm sorry, I am a noob when it comes to programming stuff, so I do a lot of copy and pasting, and any programmer will tell you a lot of it is copying and pasting. So now let's go check this out. So if we come in our room, we see we got grass, tree, and a mushroom. So basically everything is spawned up right now in our spawner. So let's go to our next room. So now we go in our next room. Now we see we only got grass. So the trees and the mushrooms didn't spawn up. So those random chances didn't get pulled. So this is a really cool function I just made up like 2 days ago, and I thought it was really awesome. That way you can make just one object, and you can clone and move it into the room before you even get into that room, first time you're entering it, and it automatically populates that room. Now, as for descriptions and what you see in the room and all the text and all that stuff, I'm actually going to let you guys, you guys can do all that. I mean, you can come in here and you can say, there, mushroom link. So that way, the mushroom link is going to be in there. Let's see. UCA, and then let's see if that works. I don't know. If it spawns up, then you might see it. If it doesn't, then yeah, you see a mushroom. So, you know, you can kind of do things like that, and you can also come in here. You see a mushroom, and you see grass, and this and that and that and this. So you come in here and you see a grass mushroom. you know, so you can do things like that, but you have to do, you see some here. Let's do this. You see some grass and a mushroom. So that way, and see, and it says the mushroom, even though the mushroom is not there in the level. So I don't really like that, and that's why I'm not going to go into depth on that. Um, Basically, you can make the descriptions whatever you want to. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will be right back, and we are going to be getting into the player stats. I know I was going to cover that in this one, but this is running a little longer than I thought. So we'll be back, guys, with part 2 when we start the player stats. So thanks again, and until next time, later.